What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Opps SportsCast. We're happy to have you back with us tonight. I'm your host, Dave in the Cut, and on tonight's episode, we'll discuss Victor Wembanyama, suspensions in sports, and the New York Yankees' latest historical move. Should be a great show tonight. What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing?
Going on, bro?
Doing good,
What's
bro.
up, dog?
All right. Let me go ahead and let my crew introduce themselves. Go ahead, fellas.
I'm Josh with Eastside.
Chris
Your boy
Feasy,
Big
what's
Z.
up, everybody?
Y'all always colliding, man.
Who's that?
I mean, we're supposed to go clockwise.
We are,
Oh,
man.
is that so?
Easy. Come
All
on,
right,
man.
my bad.
The Mets gonna
Last
Met.
word.
Mets gonna Met, man. What's going? Go ahead, man. Zeke, hit it off again, man.
Shots fired early.
Let the people
We're
know.
gonna start with Josh.
I'm
Everybody
Josh
heard Josh.
Eastside.
This
Next,
is your boy Big Z.
Big Z.
Chris Feasy in the building. What's up, everybody?
Chris
Peace.
P in the building. What's up, fellas? I'm glad to be here with you.
Yes, sir, man. Let's
All
go.
right, all right,
Another night in paradise. Now let's do
All
it.
days. Let's go.
Let's get
all
it
right.
going.
Let's get into it. So, Peasy, go ahead and why don't you tell us about our sponsor this week?
Yeah, absolutely. We got Elevated Creations, ROC LLC, Rochester's premier woman-owned balloon and event decor specialist. Whether you're planning an office party, intimate birthday celebration, or luxurious wedding, Elevated Creations ROC LLC will transform your visions into unforgettable memories. Stunning balloon arrangements, custom centerpieces, welcome signs, and seating charts, they do it all. Elevated Creations ROC LLC is here to make your event exceptional, creating memories, transform it, or that will wow your guests and make your special day truly extraordinary. So if you want to transform your event from ordinary to extraordinary, visit their website at elevatedcreationsroc.com for more information. Elevated Creations, we were created to create.
All right. Shout out to Elevated Creations. Appreciate you, Peasy. Thanks very much, man. And if anybody is interested in having their, becoming a sponsor of the show, or have you have a business or a venture that you'd like to advertise, just please have a look in the description for more information on how you can make that happen. Okay. All right, fellas. We ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Go.
All right. So for those of you who are new to the Opps SportsCast, so how the format works is we introduce a topic, and we use a show of fingers, 5 being in agreement, 1 being in disagreement, to show our stance on the topic. All right. All right, cool. Let's get with it, man. Let's go. Let's jump into topic number 1.
All right.
All right. This is a good one, man. Victor Wembanyama season-ending injury will not only have an effect on interest in the NBA, but in other areas across the sports arena where he's involved. All right, let's get a show of hands. I'm gonna count it down. 3, 2, 1. I got a 4. Josh has a 4. Zeke with 5. Peasy with 1. Peasy, let me hear from you first since you went with 1.
Yeah, I got like three main points on why I gave it a one. I don't really think Victor Wembanyama is going to make that big of an impact. Um, I don't see him as a savior of the sport. I think we've had great bigs before, and they failed to capture the imagination. We've had many great bigs, but when you think of the greats of the NBA, I mean, typically you're thinking of Magic Bird, you're thinking of Jordan, Kobe, more recently, maybe LeBron, and Steph Curry. You're not really going back to those bigs, although we've had some really good bigs. I think my point is why I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference is because I don't think he's a needle mover. Back in the day, they used to have an advertisement campaign, if you guys remember, talking about like Mike. The whole like Mike, I want to be like Mike. But what was special about that? You know what I mean? My position is this: people's attention is captured by greatness. Their imagination is captured by greatness they can emulate.
Hmm.
And you cannot emulate that kind of size. And so, as far as Victor Wembanyama, having that kind of impact on the wider audience, I don't see that happening. That's kind of my first point. Why are some of the people that are memorable in that sport memorable? When you think of Jordan and Kobe, you think of their fadeaway. When you think of Magic, you think of these passes, no look passes. When you think of Steph Curry, you think of that jump shot. I actually think that's probably one of the reasons why the NBA ratings have been kind of declining a little bit, because to the larger scale, I don't really think that even LeBron is capturing the imaginations the way that those players I just mentioned, because of his athleticism. It's just not something that other people can hope to emulate in a way that they can with Steph Curry's jump shot, or the fadeaway of Kobe and Jordan, or the passing technique of a Magic. You can't emulate that. You can't emulate athleticism. You can't emulate size. And so I don't think he's going to move the needle in that way. And my other point, I don't see someone from France being a flag carrier in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like when we're talking about being the face of a league, it's not often when you see American sports get flag carried by someone who is from a different country. The few times that has happened, um, the only one I can really think of, and forgive me for this, is Shohei Ohtani right now in the MLB. He's clearly the number one. He's that dude. He brings the ratings. But that's Japan. And Japan's favorite sport might actually be baseball. France's favorite sport is not basketball. And they are not bringing the people, the butts in the seat that Japan brings to the baseball audience. They're just not on that level. They don't have that kind of passionate fans when it comes to basketball. That's just not them. And my third and final point is the Spurs. They don't play for a marquee franchise. The last time we saw the Spurs in the spotlight, everybody was pretty much in unison saying they were boring, and immediately it didn't even really take them to establish a dynasty, and everybody was rooting against them from the jump. Um, I don't think really people care about the San Antonio Spurs on that level. They're not one of the premier destinations. After Tim Duncan left, no one wanted to go to the Spurs just because of the legacy that they created there. So I just don't see that moving the needle at all. I don't think they'll be missed at all.
Dang.
Okay,
We starting off hot. Let's
that's
go,
Yo, he
baby.
Just
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 napalmed your team,
fine.
Josh.
just crapped on my
All right,
Spurs.
Josh,
All right,
go ahead,
so
Josh. I want to
listen,
hear what you got to say.
I gave this a 4. The reason I gave this as a 4 is to counter uh, Peasy's thought that the Spurs are irrelevant to the league, and
Irrelevant.
and for that matter, nobody really cares to follow them. The Spurs have a great following, um, especially in that southwestern part of the United States, which is like a large portion of the United States. But I won't go there.
Oh, you going with the Charles
I,
Barkley thing or what?
Listen, man, I'm not. I'm leaving it with that. Um,
I
all
feel
I'm going
you.
to say is this: Victor Wembanyama, even though you may not believe that he is the face of the league or the savior of the league, which I agree with you, he's not going to be that, right? But his role, what he does, is he gives big men another look. Since Shaq, big men kind of lost their flair. Wemby came in as this 7 foot whatever center who could dribble, shoot, give you the post game, give you
The arc, three behind the arc,
art, give you all of
lovely.
that. Dime,
Got the
dish,
touch.
pass. He's got all the levels that you want in a player, on top of the fact that the dude can dunk the ball without jumping. So I disagree. I
Hard.
believe that Wemby's um effect on the game will be lasting because he changes the dynamic of what the center is based on the skill set. But at the same time, I do believe that his build and his body just was not ready for the big boy bump and rough, if you will, of the NBA. So we're seeing a little bit um, of that, of his unpreparedness, of his unreadiness, right? And rightfully so. Maybe he just didn't have the right people in his corner to prepare him for there. Maybe his body just can't build up to be bulky like some of the others. But I gave it a 4 because I do believe that this injury will not only affect the Spurs organization and their hopes to a playoff run, but I also believe that it's going to bring light to some of these likeness injuries, same like injuries with big men, and it will cause um, sports teams to maybe take a double look at these big dudes and consider if they want to pay them the big bucks with the risk of these types of injuries. That's what I got
All
to
right,
say.
cool. All right. Thanks, Josh. Zeke, I'm gonna hand over to you, but let me go real quick, okay? So just I disagree with Chris 100%. They call Wemby the unicorn, and the question was,
The alien.
you know, will it kill the interest in the NBA and in other areas? So as of right now, um, Wemby, in my opinion, is the most relevant center big man since Shaq was in the league, like Josh said. Marketability, okay, just to kind of give you some context. In the trading card world, so Wemby has signed an exclusive deal with Fanatics. I think the only other athlete that has an exclusive deal with Fanatics right now, I think, is CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud and I don't think Caitlin Clark has one. I think hers is with Panini. But he's got an exclusive deal with them. Since he's gone pro, this is what, his second year, right?
Mhm.
Wemby has over 41 million trading cards in print right now.
Sheesh.
41 million, bro. Last week, he just had a card, one of his very, very rare cards. It wasn't even a Gem Mint 10, it was a 9. And that card sold for $800,000 on Golden Auctions. And this sold after the news. I think it was auctioned Saturday night. This was after the news came out that he was out for the season. The card still sold for 800 million. I'm sorry, 800,000. My bad. 800 million. 800,000.
That's crazy dollars. Either way.
That's crazy. Whoa. That's no. So 800,000. Wemby's marketability is through the roof. He's everywhere. They've got first pitch cards for him. They've got the autograph memorabilia. They're riding off of the whole Olympics thing. Even though they lost, it was the whole tear jerk story because he played for France and he couldn't get a gold medal for France in France.
Yeah.
So there's a love affair there with to see Wemby do well. So I think marketability, honestly, I don't think I can't really think of anybody except Ant-Man who's as popular right now in the NBA. They're talking about Luka because of the trade and whatnot, but popularity wise, man, I think kids really come out and they want to see Wemby play. As far as the injury is concerned, if you really think about his stature and like his build, there's not a lot of big men that had that build that, like you said, that have been able to survive the game. I remember
Right.
Manu Bol was like rail thin, man. He was so tall. He couldn't put on any weight. He couldn't gain any weight. And so I just feel like that's always going to be an issue. If you look at Kevin Durant, how like tall Kevin Durant is, Kevin
Yep.
Durant has been one size the entire time he's been in the league. He has not put on any bulk whatsoever. So, um, but to get back to the popularity thing, I do feel like Wemby not being on the court will hurt. I feel like it's going to, it's not going to crush the league, but I do feel like people who want to come out and watch games and they want to they want to see the unicorn. I feel like that's gonna, hurt the game. And
Yeah.
that's my comments are no disrespect to Jokic. I don't know, is Jokic a true center or is he a power forward?
He's a center.
He's a center. So no disrespect to Jokic, but I mean, Jokic he doesn't have that star power. He like when he's on the court, he acts like he doesn't really even want to be there. So he's not really marketable. And Wemby, this guy's giving away jerseys and all kinds of stuff after the game. So
But
that's my.
if I might add,
Go ahead.
like Dave, isn't that kind of the point? Like, why is the NBA latching on to LeBron so hard in age 40 season? Is because the three best players in the league just might be. I mean, if you want to put Wemby in there for the sake of this conversation, fine. But it
No, I
might
didn't say he
be
was the
Joker.
best. I didn't say he
It,
was the best. I think
but
he's more popular.
it might be Joker. It might be Luca, and I mean, last season Embiid won the MVP, so I mean, you could say that, but he's always injured.
Nah,
These are
man.
all.
Embiid ain't popular, man. That dude, he's not on the
That's my
court long
point.
enough to be popular.
That's my point. You got foreign players, and none of the most talented players in the NBA are the most popular or drawing the most eyeballs.
Steph Curry.
He's not foreign, bro. He's Charlotte.
Yeah, I see. I did miss that point, the foreign point. Yeah.
The foreign part, and so Tatum,
Antetokounmpo, Giannis.
uh, Anthony Edwards. These are guys that are, they're American, and these are the guys that they're trying to promote over more talented players or more gifted players in the league. I would
Agreed.
say Wemby is probably one of the most gifted with all of his talents and abilities, and nobody cares. And no one will care.
You don't care. Don't say
You don't.
nobody cares.
You don't
Nobody
care.
Yeah,
cares, bro.
yeah.
Let me watch that Wemby. Nobody cares, bro.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no,
Go
bro.
ahead, Zeke. Let's hear it, man.
I was hoping to get in before you, Dave, because my whole point was the areas across the sports arena point. Um, I perused different message boards. I haven't fully gotten back into the trading card game yet, but I'm keeping an eye on it. And it was like, oh, sell your 1B cards while you can, because I mean this is a similar, if not the same injury that Chris Bosh had at the end of his career.
Mm,
Granted, Chris Bosh was much older, but
Right.
you got that blood clot in the shoulder, and Chris Bosh never played a game again. Because that type of injury it could be fatal. Um, you really got to treat it with kid gloves. So that type of injury, yeah, is I don't think he was injured last year, but this particular type of injury had cats running scared as far as the memorabilia game. His popularity in the league, I don't know what Chris is talking about. You're starting to see him in commercials. Um, just because he doesn't play for the Knicks doesn't mean he's not popular.
that's wild.
Bro, you know what? You might have a point. That's part of it. He don't play for New York. He don't exist, bro.
Sheesh.
Bart,
Dude,
baby, let's go.
Oh,
Philly.
I mean, you say the Spurs are irrelevant. You say the Spurs, nobody's rooting for the Spurs. I mean, I think they got more championships in the past 15 years than the Knicks do in their entire existence. The Spurs, run by Greg Popovich, are a legit. People love Pop. People would go play for Pop.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I think one of the things that prohibits that is they probably don't pay the players like you would want to.
Or Popovich is very picky with who he wants in his locker room.
That too, but usually Greg Popovich takes
why
teams
does he
that
have Chris
nobody
Paul?
would want to play with and has them on the verge of the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
All
or
right,
gets them into the playoffs. Greg
what big
Popovich
free
is
agent
that
has
dude.
San Antonio learned?
Um, Victor Wembanyama was the type of player like I heard you guys talking about the handles and the shooting and everything. The part that I love is he can do all of that and get you 4 blocks a game.
No
Right.
doubt.
Like when I think of a big man, I want not only somebody that's dominant on the offensive end, which these days with big men, dominance is looking much different. It's not Shaq banging in the post, getting you 25, 30 points. Is cats hitting the fadeaways and hitting the threes for, I mean, I'm looking at Wembanyama stats right now: 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3.8 blocks a game. I can't ask for much more from a big man. The
Bro,
dude
up
was
until
balling, and I pray that he overcomes this. He's much younger than Bosch was when it happened. I hope this is something that I hope it's not something that ends his career because I do think that he had a chance to make an impact on the game. You look
Mhm.
at when Yao Ming came over. Since then, China has embraced the NBA wholeheartedly. NBA is blowing up in China.
Yeah.
Um, Wembanyama's not the first French guy to come over and play ball. We had Tony Parker forever. Um, Wembanyama could, I don't know, his popularity in this day and age could help the NBA boom in China like or boom in France like it did in China. You got Joel Embiid and you had Luol Deng, and you look at the impact, Dikembe Mutombo, the impact they had on the NBA in Africa. They've got multiple schools and camps over in Africa to teach these cats how to play ball, and they could become feeder systems to the NBA. So, I mean, Chris, you kill me with these takes sometimes, man.
You're welcome.
All right, let's
No,
wrap
no, no,
this
no.
one up,
That
man.
wasn't a compliment.
I think we beat this one to death, man.
You know,
We
I
got
Oh,
got
to break
something else
off
to
this
say.
one.
No, I'm just playing.
Chris actually, man, Chris was hating big time.
that's funny.
Man, this dude's such a Wimby hater, man.
Bro, we needed
If
a
it's
little
not about the mess,
controversy.
man, this is just like there's nothing but any love, man.
Unbelievable.
That was
Unbelievable.
terrible. Next
All right.
topic.
We
Let's
jumping
go.
into topic 2 though?
Yeah, let's go to topic 2, Josh.
All
Let's
right,
jump.
let's do it.
All right, what we got? Oh, not that.
Mm.
Oh, not that. Okay. All right. So on February 21st, the Yankees ended their facial hair policy. Facial hair policy that had been in place since 1976. This change will result in helping the Yankees secure more free agents. I'm gonna count it down. 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, Zeke. Let's hear from you, man.
All right. As much as I love them getting rid of this policy, um, I really don't think it's gonna affect whether players come play for the Yankees or not. At the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is, well, except for Ken Griffey Jr. The only thing that really matters to a lot of these players is money. Um, the Yankees are always going to be one of those teams that will pay you, and a lot of, I mean, we saw it with. I'm pretty sure Dave can go further back, but remember when Jason Giambi was in Oakland looking like the leader of a biker gang? He came over to the Yankees and he looked like Fat Babe Ruth. Uh,
Ryan McCann.
Brian McCann, he was my catcher for the Braves and for a long time, and he had the nice goatee, and he came over to the Yankees and shaved it all off. Garrett
Johnny.
Cole. Garrett Cole had the facial hair and the long hair and everything, and signed with the Yankees and shaved it all off. Max Fried, the Yankees offered him the highest, the biggest contract for a left-handed pitcher in MLB history. What'd he do? Shave it all off. So
Don't
the
forget Johnny
dollars
Damon.
is what gets the people to play for the Yankees. I'm glad they got rid of the policy because it allows players to show their personality a little bit more. Like some players, that's part of their marketing. That's part of their brand.
Brand. Yep.
Right.
When Giambi was in Oakland, that was part of his look. Garrett Cole, a lot. I mean, I hated when Randy Johnson went over there and shaved because big unit on the mound with the hair and the mustache. That's a menacing looking dude. Big unit on the mound with none of that. I could hit that. He
Right.
doesn't. It's not as intimidating. Jason Giambi standing up there with the long flowing locks and the beard and the mustache. That's an intimidating look. Jason Giambi standing at the plate looking like a baby face. It's not as intimidating. Pitchers aren't going to be afraid of him. So I'm glad that they're allowing players to express themselves, but I really don't think it's going to affect who wants to come play for you. Devin Williams, he was mad about the policy. He shaved and what, 5 minutes later, they changed the policy. Now
Yeah.
he's got to grow it back. But
But
it
man,
wasn't
listen,
enough to keep him
he
from
took the money,
signing
man.
with the Yankees.
How you gonna be mad and about the policy. You took the money, man. And
Yeah,
like,
right?
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. Like players are gonna be upset about it, but at the end of the day, what's gonna feed my family? What's gonna put money in my pocket? Playing for the
Right.
Yankees, you got money, you got prestige, you got history, you got the big stage, you got a chance to win every year. That's what players want.
No
They
doubt.
want to keep their beard and their goatee, but at the end of the day, they want to win.
No doubt. All right, Josh, what you got, man?
I gave it a 5, right? And
Sir.
I don't know much about baseball. I'm sure the policy was in place because the Yankees were the gentleman's team, you know what I mean? And they tried to keep it fancy, keep it
Business.
business, right? And they're starting to see that all sports organizations across the board they're letting their to an extent, letting their players express themselves the way that they do naturally. But I just looked it up, and one of the articles I was reading was the policy change was made after years of internal discussions and conversations with players.
Yep.
So
And
literally,
yeah, and
that says to me
they talk to players from all eras too.
all
Not
eras,
just
bro.
yeah.
And that says to me that the players do care and the players may actually have some sort of feeling about the Yankees organization once not allowing beards. And it was a part of a discussion. And now that they are allowing beards, well groomed beards, it's almost like the perfect storm. It's the Yankees organization, like that top organization in MLB history. On top of now, I get to be myself out on the field. It's a win-win.
Right.
And
Right.
so I just feel like the impact is somewhat desirable from the player's perspective. And I do think that maybe at once there was these guys like Zeke was throwing out there name wise that would never consider going to the Yankees because of the prestigious look and feeling like they got to be the perfect image. Now they could go and be themselves and play for a winning franchise. I I think it is impactful.
All right. Okay. Easy. Would you give it again, Chris?
Uh, I gave it a 3. I'm kind of like a little on the fence. First off, just to give a little bit of props to Devin Williams, so he don't sound like such a baby. He didn't sign there in free agency. He was traded. So, if he was complaining about it, it wasn't a choice of his to go to the New York Yankees. He was traded for Nestor Cortez. Um, but
That's
they
true.
asked him. I'm sorry.
That's very true.
And so they asked him if that policy would affect his free agency. And I know that was been the common thread when they talk to free agents, but I don't know. I don't really. I will say this just to play a little devil's advocate is that what separates the good franchises from the bad franchises? You got to have a certain culture.
Trophies.
And so I was looking at the players that voted on the best owners in the league for the NFL, and it was
Right.
surprising that the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers were their owners were on the bottom of that list. And so, they have really good cultures there, though. Now with the New York Yankees, they got a culture, and when you go to the Yankees, it's supposed to be, oh, you're entering um, a winning culture, right? And so, whenever you have a culture, it's always important to be set apart. I think that's actually, kind of why in the Old Testament, God wanted to set apart his people as different from others. So that way people understood that, hey, there's uh, a certain ethical standard that these people need to hold themselves to. There's a certain weight with being considered among these groups of people. And I think the facial hair was the outward expression of that. And so if that, hurts them culturally, um, they might be sacrificing something there in the name of getting an extra free agent and that they no longer stand out from the rest of the crowd. When you go to the New York Yankees, the most famous one that I'm surprised Zeke didn't mention was Johnny Damon, man. My man
I
was like
mentioned him. I was
Oh,
mentioning
you
him.
mentioned him.
Yeah, Zeke didn't hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah. That man was like a manimal. You know
He
what I
looked
mean?
like
Like
a
a dude.
caveman, yo.
He looked like a caveman from like the Flint. Where was it? The Flintstones? The caveman with the bat. He looked like that, bro. And when he went to the Yankees, it was like, who is this dude? And so like they might be losing something that they don't really understand at the moment. But I think it makes sense because it really doesn't fit the culture of the current owner. And I think it's important that, those policies fit the culture of the front office and it no longer represents that front office. And so I think you have what you have today. But just to play a little devil's advocate there, I think it could be.
All right, let me jump in real quick, and then we'll round it out.
Let's hear it from the Yankees fan.
So this has been a long time coming for me, man. Like I've secretly had a problem with it because I felt like it kept us from getting uh good players. The Mariners had a pitcher, I forget his name, the kid with the dreads. Really good pitcher. He
Luis
was kind of
Castillo?
good, huh?
Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo. We had an opportunity to sign Castillo in free agency, and he specifically said he was not willing to cut his hair.
Mm.
And that's the first time that I think that's the first person that I was like, this is gonna hurt us, man. We really need to start thinking this over a little bit. It's like, it's starting to get in the way. But a lot of people don't know this, but when George Steinbrenner died, his daughter was his daughter Jennifer. She's been the main holdup of this because she said that this is what her father always wanted, and as long as she was alive, that this policy was going to remain in place, right? So obviously there were conversations had that were above her head. You know, Hal Steinbrenner said that if there's a conversation had about one player not wanting to come play for the Yankees because of the hair policy, then that's one player too many. And
Oh,
so the day that they announced it, he was, somebody asked him, you know, um, wasn't what do you think your father would feel about this policy? And his answer was, my father was about winning. So it's good to see that they have put this, to the side, man, and like they have started to realize that there are things that are bigger than culture or tradition. Sometimes, you know, our coffers are dry right now, and I say our like I play for the team, but man, you know how it is, man. Zeke, you
That's
you
it,
know
bro.
you're a Braves fan. You know, Chris, you're a Mets fan, good, but we ride or die with our team,
Smack.
man. We don't ride the team bus, but we are part of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I get mad when people are always like, "Oh man, you saying we like you play for the team?" I might as well, man. I'm giving them enough money, you know. So, but in all seriousness, though, you can tell that players are happy about this. The day that it was announced, Derek Jeter went on IG and he had just a picture of him with a full beard, and he had his Yankee jersey on. So I think this is a good thing for the Yankees. Now, to answer the question, do I think that it's going to get us more free agents? I was at a 3, and I'm in the middle with it. I really I think it will. I don't really think it'll matter. I think players that want to be a Yankee are going to come regardless of the hair policy.
Hmm.
However, what I do think it does is it shows free agents that the Yankees aren't just this stiff, boring team. Like they actually are listening to their fan base. They're listening. Most importantly, they're listening to their players. You
Yes.
know, past past, present, and possibly the future free agents. They are listening to them and they're taking all that stuff into consideration. So that's my take on
Good stuff.
it. All right, all right, all right, all right. So we're let's see. We're gonna go to topic 3, right?
yes, sir.
Oh,
Let's do it.
All right, man. Let's get it. Yeah. All right. Professional sports are appearing to be more heavy-handed and less forgiving when giving out suspensions to athletes for breaking league rules. All right. Let's jump on this one quick. Count it down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm at a 4. Josh is at a 4. Zeke is at a 3. Peasy's at a 2. All right, let's have Josh. Let's go.
All right. I mean, I'm going to talk about some of the suspensions that hit home more than others. Isaiah Rodgers, he was the Colts cornerback that we acquired in free agency after the Colts organization suspended him, and it was more the NFL suspended him because he violated the sports betting policy, along with a few other players in the league. And for the first full year that he was an Eagle, he was suspended and he couldn't play. He was not on the active roster. He couldn't even be in the training facility, so he had to do all of his training on his own. So right there was a perfect example of someone who went right against league policy and then turned around and had to suffer the consequence. Um, Rightfully so. I mean, the guy wasn't the smartest, and he had ties back too. Um, and there was just another recent one somewhere where, or what was it? It was a ref who shared an
Chuck
account.
Donahue.
Yeah, he was sharing an account with some friend or something,
Oh no,
and
no, no.
tried to
That's the umpire, not the
the
referee.
that's who it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
And he was sharing some sort of accounts, right? And he's not a player, but I do believe that the leagues are starting to take their policies a little bit more serious, and they're living up to the consequences that they say these policies stand by. And I think that that is important because at some point you have policies for a reason, and if players can just do umps can just do coaches can just do what they want to do, then you don't have a league. You have a wild west where people can just do whatever they want, and it does not show that the leagues, the organizations actually do care about following policy. So I gave it a 4 because I do think that they are coming down and cracking down, and they are actually trying to live up to what they say they are following.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, I'm gonna jump in real quick because I want to yield my time to Zeke because I know Zeke has a couple things on this too. So I gave it a 4, and I gave it a 4 because yes, I do feel like they're more heavy-handed, and I think that they should be because rules are in place for a reason. All right, and these we got millionaires playing a child's game in all aspects, whether it be I'll just say NBA. You know what I'm saying? Baseball. Um, they're out there, man. It's hard. It's hard uh, to take athletes serious when they complain about having to follow rules that are in place, especially when they're well compensated, right?
Woohoo.
Um, so I know with the NBA, I don't think that Adam Silver has any leeway right now to let players do whatever they want to do. When what's the David Stern was the commissioner, they had Tim Donaghy, the referee who was caught up, with the mob. He was giving insider information to the mob about, teams and just different analytics that went on in the game. Now, I don't think he wasn't never accused of doing any point shaving or anything, but he gave them an unfair advantage so that they could go and they could gamble and they could make money,
Sure.
which is, and I think the NBA got lucky in that situation. They came out of that really kind of unscathed. They came out of it a lot cleaner than they could have.
Mm.
But more recently, you got this kid, Jonte Porter. He was banned from the NBA for gambling on games, and now they're doing more investigation, and they're saying that it actually went into to college. They're looking at his college stuff to see, if he was doing stuff back then. But he was giving information to bettors and limiting his own playing time, you know, so he could have an influence on the outcome of games. That's bananas, man. And so if players think that they can get away with doing anything other than following the rules, under Adam Silver's, his leadership,
Mm.
they got another thing coming. The rules are in place for a reason, and they need to follow them. So that's it. That's all I got. Peasy.
Here, why don't you go to Zeke first? Because I know he had the counterpoint to you. I'll just close it out.
Well, I went to you because I knew you was gonna be longer. We're gonna have to cut you off, and then we'll go to Zeke. So we'll go to Zeke. Go ahead, Zeke.
Dang.
That's terrible, bro. I'm not gonna
Zeke,
be long at all. All right. Well, I'm gonna probably veer a little bit off course then, because when I think of like what happened with Bobby Portis, um, the where my brain kind of roams to, because if you guys are not familiar with what happened with Bobby Portis, he was suspended for it's not even PEDs because it's I mean I guess you could consider it performance enhancing, but it was really like a medication snafu. Um, he took I think it was tramadol and toradol, very similar sounding things. He got them confused apparently, and he took someone else's prescription for that, and that was found in his sample, and so he got suspended based on that. And so, the way my head goes is that that medication that he took is not like it's not performance enhancing in that it's like a steroid. It's performance enhancing that it dulls the pain enough for you to be able to train better. And
right.
so, like, if that's what he's taking it for, then personally, I don't have a really big issue with that. Man's not going to hit 70 home runs in a season because of that. You know what I mean? He's playing basketball. But at the same time, you know, we've seen this happen in sports where athletes feel the pressure to be out there on the court, and you always hear that their number one ability is availability. And that's where my brain wanders to. Like, what are the pressure that some of these athletes that are a little lower on the totem pole and don't have the luxury of doing the whole, I'm going to sit out or just to try to get healthy. They don't have that kind of luxury because they'll get kicked out of the league. um, I wonder how much pressure he was under to be out there, and if that played a role in that, because we've seen that happen with athletes in other sports where they hurt themselves later in life, even after the game is gone from them, because of trying to push themselves through terrible injuries. So I wonder what he's going through.
Interesting.
All right, Zeke.
See,
Floor is
here's the
yours.
thing. I'm about to disappoint a lot of y'all because I really don't have a counterpoint to anything Dave said. Um, I agree with what Dave said. Um, I don't have a problem with leagues, like Josh said. I don't have a problem with leagues handing out suspensions for players breaking the rules. Um, I don't think they're more heavy-handed and less forgiving than normal. I mean, until I see a player get banned for life, a la Pete Rose. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, in baseball, you got to fail 3 drug tests to get banned for life, which is fitting because 3 strikes and you're out.
right.
Um, so if you get banned for life from baseball for something other than gambling, you
You're an
get
idiot.
caught failing 3 drug tests, that's one too many for me. You get caught again, the second time you should be out, in my opinion. Um, are the punishments harsh for failed drug tests in baseball? Yeah, but I think they're fitting. Um, some people say it's too much. I say don't get caught cheating. So, um, yeah, sorry to disappoint, but I really don't have an argument against what any of y'all said.
Hey,
So,
Well,
man,
if you don't
short,
mind,
sweet.
let's
man,
take
that
it in
was
a
like,
different direction then. Because earlier before the broadcast, we were talking about, the suspensions that get handed out for pitchers when they have sweat and rosin in their hand, the ball being too sticky, checking their hands after every single inning. We've seen a couple of those happen last season. And I don't know about you guys, but have you guys ever been playing sports where I sweat a lot? You know what I mean? And so I put my hand through my hair or on my face or on my shoulders. My hands are sticky. You know what I mean? It
pause.
just
Ugh.
yeah, y'all pause these things. Yo, all right, I see how it is. I could have paused. I could have paused it earlier. All
It's
right,
all good,
because I
man.
mean, my man Zeke. My man Zeke was there like talking about Randy Johnson, talking about I could hit that, and I didn't pause that. But
Yeah,
all right, we
man,
could go
it's
ahead.
okay. It's all good, man. Oh my gosh, that was crazy though, man. He's
But anyways, um,
Wow.
yo, that's real talk, man. Like you see a player get suspended for I forget how many games. It's almost like a week that you get suspended in baseball. Because it happened with Max Scherzer and it happened to Edward Diaz specifically on my New York Mets. And then another team, they check their hands and they're like, bro, that's a little sticky. You might want to wash that. And they give them the ability to wash it.
Hmm.
When they didn't give our players that same ability, they just tossed them out of the game and then MLB summarily suspended them. So, like, if you're going to make
Is
these
this more
rules,
Mets
then you got to be
tears?
consistent.
It sounds like Mets
Fair enough.
tears.
Yeah, nah, but Zeke, you gotta say it's fair enough. I mean, I don't know the context, nor do I know if that was like if he had multiple warnings beforehand, So I get it.
I
Be
mean, I get it
consistent.
too. I just any chance I get to hate on the Mets,
Gotta
I'm
give
gonna
it
take
to
it.
him. Gotta give
But
it
There's
to
a
him.
I
lot of
was
hate.
kind of
I think
surprised
people
when
who
Diaz
watch
got
this
suspended
podcast
without.
will see that.
I mean, I think I was mad because Edwin Diaz was my closer in fantasy, and I needed some saves that week, and he got busted. So I was mad at him and mad at the ump at the same time. But yeah,
I got you.
all right, man. Well, that was a
Yo,
good
so
take. It was a little anticlimactic from my man Big Zeke, but it's all good,
I hear
well,
you.
because
man.
I know we had a discussion earlier in the week, and the discussion that we had was more geared towards the Bobby Portis suspension, and I didn't feel like um, the way the question was worded kind of warranted that discussion.
I get it.
Um, so I really didn't feel comfortable taking it there because I didn't want to seem like I was just rambling on a tangent.
No, I get it. You know, the thing with the Bobby Portis thing for me is that people are saying um, Toradol and what's the other thing, Tramadol.
Tramadol.
Yeah.
Tramadol.
They're saying, well, it was a mix up. It's wordplay, blah blah blah. So my thing is that my whole take on that was this. Everybody's saying the league was being too hard, and my thought process is your job is to show up and play NBA basketball. When you sign your contract, you're a part of the NBA Players Association, and there's rules that deal with uh, foreign substances in your body. Every player that steps on that floor is a walking brand, and it's your job as a player to protect your brand. The big problem that I had was that this man is worth tens of millions of dollars, and he took a pill that an assistant gave him that was their prescription. It doesn't matter whether the two sound alike or they don't. You took another person's prescription thinking it was one thing. That's highly irresponsible, and it's going to cost him like $3.1 million. It's not his fault because the assistant didn't make him take it.
Hmm.
He could have easily said, I don't know what that is, or that's your prescription. I can't take that. It's very dangerous to take somebody else's prescription because it's written based on their anatomy, and their makeup or whatever. So where I was coming from was people were saying the league was being very heavy handed, they could have gave him a break. Nah, they can't give him a break because if they give him a break, then they're going to have to give the next 10, 15 people that it happens to the same break. But here's the catch. There hasn't been 10 or 15 other people. Bobby Portis has been the only person to take somebody else's prescription and get caught for doing it.
Hmm.
So which tells you even more how highly irresponsible he's been. So I don't really feel like that the NBA was heavy handed and handed out with, the suspension that they handed out. I feel bad for him. You know what I'm saying? But it just I'm not going to go into any kind of speculation of why he may have been taking it because frankly it's none of my business. He put that in his body and he did it for a reason, and he decided to take somebody else's prescription, and that's just it's whack to me. You know.
You
Yeah,
know,
I can see it from both sides.
just to end on a funny note, is that this just kind of brought back the memories of you remember when Stephen A. Smith used to be on television saying "Stay off the
The weed,
weed."
Stay off
You
the
don't hear that no more.
weed. Yeah.
Stay off the
Now it's
weed.
like you
Everybody
gotta
finna do
just
that.
it's like stay off the weed, the this, the that, the other, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But oh look at that. My wife agrees with me. That's awesome.
Of course, she agrees with you.
That's
That's
what's up,
beautiful.
Liz.
I'm cooking over here.
Is
Yeah.
that the
Thank you,
other
babe.
paid advertisement right there?
Dang.
Nah, but you know what,
My bad.
Dave? We should cut some segue. Talk about Ops Radio.
Oh, let's do that, man, real quick. So, because I want to jump into this last topic, man, because I know we got a hard stop tonight. So let me do that real quick. So, um, I just want to give a shout out to Opposition Radio and give a plug and kind of just tell everybody about it. Opposition Radio is a 24-hour internet radio station that offers hip hop, EDM, R&B, reggae, Latin, and pop. So please show them some support and go check out their amazing rotation of artists. You can check them out by going to the opsradio.live from any internet browser. Right? So do yourself a favor and check it out. There's some great artists over there, good music, and it's always popping. It's running 24/7. All right. So again, it's Opposition Radio. Uh, the opsradio.live is the URL. Opposition Radio, and our tag is motivation to stand firm.
Dang.
Stand firm against the opposition. It's going to be people trying to lead you in some bad places. Stand firm.
Stand firm.
Stand firm, man. All right, fellas. Let's get in to our final topic for the night.
It happened today.
It happened today. So what happened
Oh
today, this is
God.
something that we started a couple weeks ago. And we just figured we would kind of go historical with these. We want to drop a jewel on of some some historical stuff that happened on this very day, whether it be a couple years ago, decades ago, whatever. So let's drop this one, okay? All right, it happened today. In 1989, the Dallas Cowboys fired coach Tom Landry after 29 straight years of coaching. Landry went 270 and 178 with the Cowboys, won 2 Super Bowls, and is currently fifth in all-time winning percentage with a 601 winning percentage. How dare those bums fire the great Tom Landry? So just to give a little context here, let me cook, Zeke. Okay, I know those are your boys.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't know this. Peasy, you probably don't know this. I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan. All right.
So sorry for you.
70s and 80s, bro. Man, listen. Come on, man. Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Robert Newhouse. Can I keep
Doomsday.
going? Everson Walls. Can I keep going? Drew Pearson, Randy White, Ed Too Tall
Educate
Jones.
him, Dave.
I'm cooking, right? I'm right. I'm cooking. All right. Off the dome. That was my team. Then in comes Jerry Jones, the wrinkler that I call him.
The wrinkle.
In comes the wrinkler, kicks my man Landry to the side, man. To the side, man. Like a can on the street, bro. After all this man had done, 29 years with
Flicked
this
him like a booger.
franchise. Jerry Jones, I'm gonna save my breath, man. I'm not gonna say nothing about that, man.
Listen, this was the beginning of the end for the Cowboys because Jerry Jones came in. Tom Landry had been the only coach in Cowboys history. Jerry Jones comes in, fires him, hires Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson wins 2 Super Bowls. All of a sudden, Jerry Jones thinks he's a genius. Oh, I can go get another Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Kicks Jimmy to the curb, brings in Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer wins the Super Bowl with Jimmy Johnson's team, but of course Jerry takes the credit for it, and he's been chasing that glory ever since.
Ever since, man.
And it all started when he came in and fired Tom Landry. So yeah, he got his 3 Super Bowl rings, but probably won't win another one.
Nah, I don't think he will, man.
I was just in Texas.
He's the modern day Jerry Reinsdorf, man. That was jealous when Jordan,
Oh God,
I
you
built
gonna hit
this
me with
team.
both of my teams
I'm
tonight,
a beast.
Dave?
I don't
You
even know
just
who
ripping
that
all
is.
the wounds open, man.
Huh?
You didn't have to go to Reinsdorf. Come on now.
I'm saying, man, who
You could have said Al Davis.
I could have, man, but Reinsdorf was a joke, man. It's like you cooking with Jordan, man. Listen, the starting five that you had with the Bulls, and you couldn't just sit back and let them dudes cook. You had to. Well, everybody's giving Jordan all the credit. I built this team. It's like, all right, well, let's see how you do without us. And it
Lost
didn't turn out so
Jordan, lost Pip, lost Phil. Yeah,
didn't turn out so
way to
well,
go.
did it? Yeah. So
Well, I gained a little bit more respect for you knowing that, Dave, because like you left the Cowboys. Take note, Zeke. You left the Cowboys and went to the Colts. Guys,
Bruh,
I'm a
that's not
Colts
much
fan.
better.
Yeah, that talks a lot about you. See, take notes, bro. You got to leave the call. We're gonna work on you, Dave. We're gonna get
He
you to
could have.
switch from a Yankees to a Mets fan soon enough.
nah,
You're in
Can we
what
talk
you
season
about
can do,
two.
man.
Get to the
Ovechkin so we can
Colts.
shut this thing down, please? I
What
don't
you
Oh,
like
can
my
getting
do,
bad, my
jumped.
man.
bad.
Where's my
My
I
Yo,
bad.
think
Ovechkin
we got some
update?
breaking news. I think we do.
we do.
Oh,
This time,
oh,
he's serious right here.
what?
Yo,
Go
Zeke,
ahead, cook.
read this for your boy.
What am I reading? I don't see anything. Oh, you want me to read that at the bottom? Dang. All right, breaking news. Since our last stream, Alex Ovechkin has scored 4 goals, including a hat trick on February 23rd. He's now sitting at 883 career goals, 11 shy of tying Wayne Gretzky's all-time record of 894. Ovechkin has 24 games left in the regular season. Can Alexander the Great catch and surpass the Great One before season's end?
Without
Stay
Mm,
tuned because I'm gonna give y'all updates every week. So
Yeah, man,
whether
let's
y'all
do
like
it.
hockey or not, we're gonna follow this.
People don't realize how relevant this is, man. It's like
This is
Gretzky's
big.
always gonna be the great one, bro. He's always like if Ovi's not gonna be the caliber of Gretzky. He'll be the number one scorer, but he won't be the great one. But it's still a beautiful thing for hockey, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
No,
This is like somebody catching Pete Rose in
no
baseball.
doubt,
That all time hits record, or somebody approaching Ricky Henderson's steal record.
no
If
doubt.
that ever happens, that's gonna be big news because those were nobody's ever gonna touch Joe DiMaggio's 56 game hit streak. Nobody's gonna ever touch Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive game streak. But
Right.
I mean, Wayne Gretzky put up some monster numbers, and for Ovechkin to be this close, it's. I hope he gets it this year because,
He will.
yeah,
He
I mean,
cooking
I'd
right
love
now.
to see it
He
happen
just
for him. And
he's
before we dip, shout out to Canada. They heard y'all calling him little brother last week, and they
yeah, yeah.
came out and won that game in an overtime thriller against the United States. It was a great game. I tuned in about halfway through the first period, and yeah, it was.
It's a good
I
game,
hope
man.
y'all watched it.
I
It was
did.
good.
You can't. I didn't watch the overtime, but you can't be mad about that, man. Canada's supposed to win that, man. Hockey was created in Canada, bro.
that's what I was
Like
gonna say. That's the
they
home
don't
of
win
hockey
that.
right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the home of hockey, but I mean, just the week before we stomped them 3-1.
We
So
did, man. But you knew they was gonna come back with a vengeance, man. They wasn't gonna go out like that. So
Bro, overtime. That's not a vengeance.
I don't know, man. The
shut
brothers are done,
up.
bro. Let's go, man. Josh, let's kick
Hit the
it, man.
button,
Let's get back.
Josh.
Let's cue up
We
the
go.
music.
We're gonna just run this out real quick.
Cue the Sandman.
Cue
All
it.
right, fellas.
All
Great
right.
show, man.
So,
Good seeing you guys, and let's do it again next week, brothers.
All right,
All right, fellas.
all right. Peace.
Peace.
deuces.